Hi, I'm Ben Schwartz. I'm an attorney, and we're going to answer a question today from Jake in Columbia, Maryland. Jake wrote in, he said, I was rear-ended in a car accident and I've got a back injury. The doctors and my lawyer are telling me I have a disc herniation, but no one can seem to explain to me what that means. So it's a great question, Jake. Thanks so much for contacting us. Thanks for your email. Here's a video for you. We're going to talk about what is a disc herniation, and I'm going to try and, I'm not a doctor, I'm an attorney. I wish I was a doctor. I think it would be very interesting to be a doctor, but I'm not. But I'm going to do my best to explain this as simply as I can. In your spine, whether it's your neck or your upper back or your lower back, your spine is made up of bones and discs. So if you look at, this is my buddy Skinny, my skeleton that I use in trials when we go to jury trial and I need to have someone explain something to the jury. Sometimes we take Skinny, but basically if you look at the human spine, there's bone and bone and bone, and the thing that separates the bones are the discs. The disc is a fibrous material, and it basically works as a shock absorber to dampen the shock from one bone to the next, because what you don't want is you don't want one bone rubbing on the next bone or touching the next bone. That would be painful. The problem with discs is that this is another model of a section of spine. Here's the vertebrae or the bones, and there's the disc. The problem with discs is that sometimes some of the disc can push out the back. You get a bulging disc or a herniated disc, and sometimes if you have disc material pushing out the back of the disc space, the space between the bones, what can happen is it can start pushing on nerves, because the nerves come out of the spine towards the back of the bony processes. They come out through what's called neural foramen. And so if you've got a disc bulge or a disc herniation, it can push on nerves. It can push into the thecal sac, which is the sac surrounding the central spinal cord. If you look on this model, on the medical model, there's the central spinal cord going down that canal. And if the disc material is pushing on a nerve or pushing on the cord or the thecal sac, then you can end up having nerve pain. You can end up having all kinds of symptoms, bowel, bladder, loss of control. Your legs can stop working. If it's a cervical, if it's a neck disc, it can cause problems down your arms as well. So it can be very serious, or it could not be that serious. Sometimes disc injuries can exist if you take a perfectly healthy individual and put them in an MRI, machine, take an MRI, you may find that there are disc bulges or disc herniations and they're not symptomatic. The problem is when they're pushing on nerves or they're pushing on the cord or on the thecal sac, they can become symptomatic, and the problems that you can have will be pain localized in that area where that bulge or that herniation is. It can be a burning pain or a searing pain. You can have shooting pain or symptoms because the nerves come out of the spine, and the nerves go down the arms, the nerves go down the legs. You can have problems going down your arms or going down your legs. It's not uncommon in car accident cases or slip and fall cases where someone has a herniated disc in their neck or a herniated disc in their back. It's not uncommon at all for them to come in to an attorney's office and say, my hand's going numb, I'm having numbness in these fingers or in the palm of the hand. That lets us know that there's a potential disc injury in their neck. This is not something to play around with. I would say that if you've had a car accident or you've had a slip and fall or some other type of incident where you've sustained trauma to the neck or back and you suspect that you have maybe had a disc injury, I would say you need to go to a neck or back specialist, a doctor who's a specialist in treating these types of injuries, and perhaps let that doctor send you for an MRI to diagnose the problem. and give you appropriate treatment. You can certainly try and live with it on your own, but the sooner you get it diagnosed and the sooner you begin treatment, the sooner you'll start feeling better. So I hope that answers the question. I hope that that explains what a disc herniation is, or what a disc bulge is. If you have questions for me, you can ask me questions about medicine. Like I said, I'm a lawyer. I have a relatively decent knowledge of medical terms and terminology and how things work with respect to anatomy, but I'm not a doctor. You can ask me anyways. If it's something I can answer, I'll answer it in a video for you. Or if you have a question about the law or the legal system that you think would make for an interesting video, send me an email. My email address is ben.schwartz@schwartzandschwartz.com. Thanks for watching.